Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. On June 6, 1916, Yuan Shikai passed away due to illness. In his final moments, he suddenly woke from a coma and cried out, "Yang Du has wronged me," before closing his eyes forever. This scene shocked and deeply saddened those present, especially his trusted assistant Duan Chirue. Duan couldn't hold back his tears and sorrowfully said, "Mr. President, you've left us just like this. What should we do now? Where will our country go from here?" At that moment, Yuan Shikai's eldest son, Yuan Keding, stepped forward to comfort Duan Chirue, saying, "Uncle Duan, don't worry. Before his death, my father entrusted me with a silk bag that contains arrangements for the successor." Duan Chirue hurriedly asked, "Where is the silk bag? Let's open it quickly and see." Yuan Keding didn't speak but simply pointed to the head of the bed. Duan followed his gesture and saw a golden chest placed there. He quickly picked it up, and Yuan Keding, with trembling hands, took out a piece of rice paper from inside and handed it to Duan Chirue. Duan Chirue eagerly unfolded the paper, only to see 3 names written on it. These were the individuals Yuan Shikai believed could lead China in the future. However, upon reading the names, Duan Chirue was filled with rage and almost fainted. It wasn't because his name was absent from the list, but because his name was placed last. This implied that Yuan Shikai did not consider him as the successor, which was a devastating blow to Duan Chirue. According to historical records, Duan Chirue had been a key assistant to Yuan Shikai. He had followed Yuan from a young age, training troops and earning Yuan's full trust. After the outbreak of the Wuchang uprising, it was Duan Chirue who, alongside 46 Beiyang generals, forced Emperor Xiantong to abdicate, allowing Yuan Shikai to become president. During Yuan Shikai's illness, many both at home and abroad believed that Duan Chirue would be his successor. Thus, Duan Chirue was once regarded as the only person capable of taking over the Beiyang government. Moreover, some speculated that Yuan Shikai might have had plans to establish a family dynasty and intended to pass on the responsibility to his eldest son, Yuan Keding. But surprisingly, Yuan Shikai's will did not include Yuan Keding's name, which also puzzled Duan Chirue. So, who were the 3 names mentioned in Yuan Shikai's will? After much shock and confusion, Duan Chirue discovered that the 3 people listed were himself, Li Yuanhong, and Su Shichang. Here, let's first talk about the last name on the list, Duan Chirue. Duan Chirue, born in 1865 in Hefei, Anhui. Many believe he gained his skills during his time training troops at the Xiaozhan Military Academy. But this is not the case. As early as June 1885, during the 11th year of the Guangxu Emperor's reign, Li Hongzhang founded the Beiyang Military Academy. Upon hearing the news, Duan Chirue was thrilled. His grandfather had been a core figure in the Huai army and had participated in suppressing the Nien army, earning great fame. Although his grandfather passed away and the family's fortunes declined, with his father becoming a farmer, Duan Chirue inherited his grandfather's interests, developing a passion for military strategy, practicing marksmanship, and gaining a strong military foundation. However, skill alone was not enough. The key was whether someone would recognize his talent. Upon learning that the Beiyang Military Academy was recruiting, Duan Chirue was excited and decided to apply. He passed the entrance exams with excellent results and was admitted as a preparatory student in the first class of the academy, where he was assigned to the artillery department. Duan Chirue cherished this opportunity, studied diligently, and trained hard, earning the admiration of Li Hongzhang. In November of the 13th year of Guangxu's reign, 1887, Duan Chirue graduated from the Tianjin Military Academy's artillery department with top honors and was assigned to Lushuan to oversee the construction of artillery positions. In the winter of the 14th year of Guangxu's reign, 1888, The Qing government decided to select talent to study in Germany through exams, with only 5 spots available. Over 400 people participated in the exam. Duan Qirui once again stood out, achieving first place, and along with 4 other students, sailed to Germany for further studies. Upon returning to China, Duan Qirui had completed his studies and became a man with exceptional skills, waiting for a patron to notice him. In December of the 21st year of Guangxu's reign, 1895, Yuan Shikai was dispatched to Tianjin Xiaozhan to train the new army, and Duan Qirui was recommended. Finally, this 1,000-li horse was discovered by Yuan Shikai, his patron, and Duan was transferred to Tianjin Xiaozhan to serve as the head instructor of the newly established Army Artillery School. In 1899, Duan Qirui accompanied Yuan Shikai, then the governor of Shandong, to Shandong to suppress the Boxer Rebellion. His outstanding performance earned him high praise from Yuan Shikai. At this time, the Qing dynasty was in turmoil, and Yuan Shikai had already recognized the situation and developed political ambitions. He sought to build his career. To expand his power, Yuan began to cultivate trusted allies, with Duan Qirui naturally being his top choice. To gain Duan's loyalty, on May 31, 1901, Yuan Shikai married his adopted daughter, Zhang Ailing, to Duan Qirui. In November of the same year, Yuan Shikai became the governor of Zhili and recommended Duan Qirui to serve as the head of the various military schools in the Right Military Guard, promoting him to a third-rank official. In May of the 28th year of Guangxu's reign, 1902, Duan Qirui was promoted to a second-rank official for his success in suppressing the Jing Tingbin uprising in Guangzhou County, and was awarded a flower plume and the title of Bachelor for his bravery, similar to how Sengalinkin was honored for suppressing the Taiping army. In December of the 29th year of Guangxu's reign, 1903, the Qing court established the Military Training Bureau, with Prince Qing Yiquang as the director, Yuan Shikai as the co-minister, and Duan Qirui appointed as the military orders administrator. He was also granted the title of vice-commander. At this point, Duan Qirui had become a prominent figure, alongside Wang Shizhen and Feng Guozhang, known as the Three Heroes of Beiyang. This success was due not only to his ability but also to Yuan Shikai's support. Without Yuan's backing, it remains uncertain whether Duan could have risen to such a prominent position. In the feudal society, while ability was important, recognition and patronage were often necessary for success. Duan Qirui was well aware of this and was deeply grateful to Yuan Shikai, who had helped him multiple times at critical junctures. At that time, the Bannermen and the Green Standard Army had already declined, and only Yuan Shikai's new army remained the most capable fighting force. Yuan Shikai, being Han Chinese, was viewed with suspicion by the court, facing constant impeachment. In this context, the clever Yuan Shikai voluntarily resigned from his military posts. In September of the 33rd year of Guangxu's reign, 1907, the Qing government used the strategy of luring the tiger from the mountain to appoint Yuan Shikai as Minister of Military Affairs and Minister of Foreign Affairs, stripping him of his military power. Nevertheless, the court leadership remained wary of Yuan Shikai. In November of the 34th year of Guangxu's reign, 1908, both Empress Dowager Cixi and Emperor Guangxu passed away. The regent, Zifeng, planned to remove Yuan Shikai to prevent him from becoming a new political threat. However, Duan Qirui cleverly fabricated a false military coup, successfully intimidating Zifeng and preventing harm to Yuan Shikai. On January 2, 1909, Yuan Shikai was ordered to leave Beijing for health reasons. Before leaving, he shook Duan Qirui's hand and said gratefully, "I'm able to leave Beijing safely thanks to you." Duan Qirui replied, "Not at all. Without your support, how could I have reached where I am today? If you ever need me in the future, I'll risk my life without hesitation." These words moved Yuan Shikai to tears. After the outbreak of the Wuchang uprising, Yuan Shikai was reinstated. Duan Qirui, along with over 60 Beiyang generals, forced the abdication of Emperor Xiantong, paving the way for Yuan Shikai to reach the pinnacle of power. Thus, while Yuan Shikai did not choose Duan Qirui as his successor, it surprised many. However, behind this decision lay complex power struggles and personal interests. Yuan Shikai's greed had almost no limits. When he was sent back to his hometown by the Qing dynasty, it was already a great stroke of luck that he managed to keep his life. Having preserved his life, he began planning his comeback, aiming to regain his power, with the ultimate goal of overthrowing the Qing dynasty. However, after successfully toppling the Qing, Yuan Shikai became the president of the Republic of China. But he was not satisfied. His greater ambition was to declare himself emperor. This way, he could attain absolute power, free from any restrictions, and ensure his son would inherit the throne, securing his family's power for generations. However, Duan Qirui clearly disagreed with Yuan Shikai's plan to become emperor. Although he did not openly oppose it, he was deeply dissatisfied. If Yuan Shikai became emperor, Duan's future would be completely locked in, relegating him to the status of a mere subject under Yuan, with the constant risk of being suppressed. To protect himself, Duan had no choice but to silently endure and not openly oppose Yuan. This ambiguous, uncertain stance led Yuan Shikai to become thoroughly disappointed in Duan Qirui, ultimately deciding not to regard him as the first successor. Nevertheless, Duan Qirui's capabilities could not be underestimated. In the Beiyang government at the time, he ranked just below Yuan Shikai. Yuan Shikai also recognized that Duan had the ability to take over the country and could effectively control the nation after his death. Therefore, Yuan did not entirely rule out Duan Qirui as a potential successor but hoped to find someone more loyal to take his place. The person Yuan Shikai favored as second in line was Su Shichang. Compared to Duan Qirui, Yuan Shikai had a much stronger sense of loyalty to Su Shichang. And there was a profound reason behind this. Before meeting Yuan Shikai, Duan Qirui had already laid a solid foundation for himself. Had he not met Yuan, he might not have risen to such a high position, but at the very least, he would have had a good future. Su Shichang, on the other hand, owed his entire career to Yuan Shikai's support. Without Yuan's help, he would never have risen to prominence. Su Shichang originally worked as a small secretary in a county office, largely unknown. Had it not been for Yuan Shikai's promotion, he might have spent his entire life in a small post in a minor location. One day, by chance, Su met Yuan Shikai, who immediately recognized his potential. Yuan supported him to go to Beijing for exams, where he eventually passed and became a jinshi, opening the door to his political career. It can be said that Su Shichang's rise was entirely due to Yuan Shikai's patronage. With Yuan Shikai's help, Su Shichang's career flourished, and he steadily climbed the ranks. In the 31st year of Guangxu's reign, 1905, at the age of 50, Su was appointed Minister of Military Affairs. He was soon promoted to the position of Imperial Commissioner and became the governor of the 3 eastern provinces, overseeing both military and civilian matters. His status rapidly ascended, bringing him closer to Yuan Shikai's power center. All of this, aside from Su's own abilities, was largely due to Yuan Shikai's support. However, when Yuan Shikai proposed declaring himself emperor, Su Shichang's attitude was similar to Duan Qirui's. He neither openly supported or opposed the idea but chose to remain silent. Although Su was very capable, skilled in strategy and military affairs, and understood how to win people's favor, earning him the nickname Crystal Fox, he was not as focused on military matters as Duan Qirui. Su's political skills and maneuvering were more sophisticated. In comparison, Yuan Shikai evidently favored Su Shichang more, which is why he ranked Su ahead of Duan Qirui as a more promising successor. The first person Yuan Shikai favored was Li Yuanhong. Although Li Yuanhong's political career was not directly related to Yuan Shikai, his rise to the position he held was not an easy feat. Initially, it was through the recommendation of Zhang Jidong, the governor of Hubei, that Li entered the political world. Later, Li Yuanhong became the first vice president of the Republic of China and later served as the second president, earning the title of Pioneer of the Republic. Unlike Yuan Shikai, Duan Qirui, and Su Shichang, who were rebels, Li Yuanhong had a more loyal political stance. Before the Shanghai Revolution, he was the leader of the Qing army in Hubei, focused on preventing uprisings and suppressing the revolutionary forces. Unfortunately, when the Wuchang uprising broke out, Li was unable to respond in time. Instead, when the leaders of the Tongmenghui were absent from Wuchang, he was forced to take on the position of Governor-General of the Hubei military government. Although he had not contributed to the revolution, he ended up becoming vice president after the nationalist government was established. Li Yuanhong's rise to such a high position was not accidental. His military skills and leadership abilities earned him great respect within the Hubei new army. But he still held deep loyalty to the Qing court. This loyalty doomed his cooperation with Sun Yat-sen to be short-lived. Ultimately, Li Yuanhong sided with Yuan Shikai. Starting in August 1912, he publicly participated in suppressing the revolutionary forces, earning him the nickname Li the Butcher. However, when Yuan Shikai began preparing to declare himself emperor, Li Yuanhong's attitude was not as enthusiastic as Duan Qirui's. On December 12, 1915, Yuan Shikai officially announced his imperial declaration, and the first order Li received was being conferred the title of Prince of Wui. At this point, Li Yuanhong adopted a very cautious attitude. He knew well that supporting the imperial system might alienate a large number of Republic supporters. But if he opposed it, he could still maintain his position. Therefore, he took a wait-and-see approach, deciding to base his stance on the unfolding situation. Clearly, Li Yuanhong's conservative strategy was very wise. He, along with Duan Qirui, Su Shichang, and others, realized that Yuan Shikai's declaration of the empire would provoke widespread opposition across the nation and could ultimately fail. The best strategy was to remain neutral, neither supporting nor opposing, and wait for the situation to clarify before making a decision. In the end, Li Yuanhong's cautious decisions helped him stay in a favorable position when the critical moment came. It's worth noting why Yuan Shikai ultimately decided to make Li Yuanhong his successor instead of Duan Qirui or Su Shichang. In fact, Li Yuanhong's succession was a natural course of events. At that time, Yuan Shikai's imperial plans faced strong opposition nationwide, forcing him to abandon the idea of the empire and restore the republic. As vice president, Li Yuanhong was naturally positioned to assume the presidency after Yuan Shikai's downfall. Furthermore, Yuan Shikai believed that, although Li Yuanhong had once been a member of the revolutionary forces, he did not belong to the Beiyang clique. Therefore, compared to Duan Qirui and Su Shichang, Li Yuanhong was more likely to be accepted by the Kuomintang. After Yuan Shikai announced the cancellation of the empire, anti-Yuan leaders in the south, such as Kai Yi and Tang Jiao, expressed their willingness to allow Li Yuanhong to succeed the presidency through legal means. Ultimately, Li Yuanhong achieved his goal and became the president of the Republic of China. However, after taking office, he did not hold real power, as military control remained in the hands of Duan Qirui and others. He had no choice but to appoint Duan Qirui as premier. Since both men were no strangers to political maneuvering, this soon led to a fierce, cabinet versus executive, struggle. Li Yuanhong took the initiative, using his presidential power to remove Duan Qirui from office in February 1917. Naturally, Duan refused to back down, angrily leaving Beijing and beginning to plan a return to power in Tianjin. In this process, Zhang Sun orchestrated a restoration attempt. But Duan Qirui seized the opportunity to first support the restoration. Then, under the pretext of suppressing rebellion, led his troops north to Beijing, ousting Zhang Sun and also eliminating Li Yuanhong as a threat. Li Yuanhong, having become a fugitive during the restoration crisis, lost his qualifications to continue as president. And his political career effectively came to an end. According to relevant historians, the three individuals Yuan Shikai favored did indeed become figures of great consequence in the future. However, Yuan Shikai only got half of it right. After his death, China entered an era of warlord conflict, and none of the three men he favored truly managed to rule China. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone and see you in the next time.